Well, that makes a change, doesn't it, from the sound of lashing wind and rain as an introduction. This is your latest MWIS Outlook, updated Tuesday the 23rd of February. We do have a story of improving weather on the way as high pressure is set to build later this week, and it looks most likely that that area of high pressure will be around into the first week of March. So quiet, pleasant early springtime conditions on the way. We may well find some inversions that set themselves up at times. Temperature-wise, maybe not especially mild or warm, but pleasant early March weather with some frost overnight. We've still got a bit of action going on in the next day or so. No prizes for spotting the cold front on this chart. This is the freezing level situation through Wednesday, and we've got a front which is draped across the Irish Sea and northern England with some very mild air ahead of it, and then a transition to cooler air coming in behind. Through Wednesday, the freezing level not dropping particularly sharply at around 1,200 metres across western Scotland, a bit higher than that further south and east. We will see a lowering though as we go later Wednesday on into Thursday as chillier air comes around off the North Atlantic, and I suspect by Thursday daytime it's nearer to sort of 800 or 900 metres across much of the Highlands, and maybe even as low as that across the hills of England and Wales as well. So some showers that are around will fall as some snow above say 600 or 700 metres. Things do become a little bit less easy to define in terms of a freezing level as we go further forwards. Broadly, the general atmospheric freezing level will lift way above the mountains, but we will see some overnight frost in the valleys, the glens, and even on some sheltered higher slopes. So a few frost pockets could occur even quite a bit higher up. An inversion is trying to set itself up in places. It's this classic springtime pattern, basically, where you will just get some thawing and refreezing of the ground overnight. But overall, we're getting into a different weather situation. Synoptic charts for the next few days. Still a severe day across the mountains on Wednesday. Gales or severe gales across many mountains. The remnants of a front still producing some heavy falls of rain across Wales and northern England as well. This whole feature just gradually drifting further eastwards and southeastwards with time, and some showers feeding into the Western Highlands, driest with the highest cloud bases toward the eastern side of Scotland. Be aware of very wet ground conditions, some flooding in places. There's been a lot of rain in recent days across western Scotland, in fact most western mountains of Britain, so just be aware of that saturated condition underfoot. A gradual drying up process as we go towards the end of the week. That front just about clearing southeast England into Thursday daytime. A few squibs of showers coming in, mainly across western Scotland, with some snow mixed in to them, but generally very brief showers. Pressure is beginning to build, and for much of England and Wales, likely to be a dry day. Still a chilly breeze, a blustery day, and temperatures sub-zero, as mentioned, above around 800 or 900 metres, so feeling rather cold in exposure on many high tops, least of the wind towards the south of Wales. Now by Friday, high pressure continuing to build. There may just be the remnants of a bit of a front somewhere across Scotland, which still produces some low cloud and remnants perhaps of some overnight rain just in places, but not amounting to a great deal, and the idea of many places being dry for much of the day. Cloud breaking with some sunshine coming through, best of the brighter periods generally towards more eastern regions of Britain. Still a brisk wind across the Highlands, lighter winds again further south that you go. Very light winds for many places we go into the weekend. Still a west by southwesterly drift just coming around the high into northwest Scotland, which may just produce some banks of low cloud in places. Again, the remnants of a front may be just producing that leftover footprint of some moisture in places, trying to set up some local inversion conditions, so a chance that some highest tops may well poke out above some low-level cloud in places, and a few patches of valley fog may well be around across England and Wales. All in all, though, a dry day and a pleasant day as we go to the end of February. All very similar into Sunday as well. High pressure in charge, a dry day on the cards. Again, some banks of low-level fog or cloud, very patchy I suspect, many places looking as though it should be clear with some sunshine and very light winds practically everywhere across Britain. Most indications keep high pressure in charge as we go onwards into next week. The exact position of the centre of the high is maybe open to a bit of question. It seems to want to just be parked to the east or southeast of us, so the general drift coming around from the continent on a southeasterly, mostly light winds for several days ahead seems the likely result of this one. Dry conditions prevailing. Again, some patchy low-level fog banks may well be around. A little bit hazy perhaps with time as we just draw in that southeast, so not necessarily crystal clear conditions, but if you're above an inversion, some of those higher slopes may be clearer than a bit of haze lower down. Changes maybe later in the week, perhaps just a tendency for some fronts over the Atlantic to just drift across the northwest of Britain. A lot to play for at a week and a bit away, but I think the signal for high pressure being nearby does continue for a while. That's the forecast chart for the week as a whole between the 2nd and the 8th of March. It's the pressure anomaly from one of the forecast models and does just show that bullseye of high pressure parked around our part of the world. Very much a settled spell to go into the start of March. Looking fairly straightforward then as we go forward. We'll keep you right up to date, of course, here at MWIS. The next video online for you on Friday. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.